Hello there, memory keepers. Welcome to a short notice Facebook Live where I'm going to do a flip through of our 2002 Roth family album. I'm just updating my screen here on my iPad so I can see comments, if anybody's going to hop in and join us. If you do join in, whether you're watching live or the replay, make sure that you say hi. It's always nice to see who's watching. Oh, here we go. Okay, and let's turn the sound off so I do not hear myself talk. There we go. Good morning, good afternoon, Mary Liz. And hello, Barb. Oh, I just turned my comments off. There we go. Okay. All right, now we are gonna try this. This is a little bit different than I normally do my Facebook Lives. I've set it up so that you can't see my face. I wanted to go right into the album. So I'm hoping that it will work, okay. Okay, so I just finished, well, let me introduce myself for any of those who are watching who may not know who I am. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sherwood Park, Alberta, Canada, and I love to stamp. Whether it's card making, scrapbooking, doesn't matter what it is, I just love to stamp. So I thought I would pop in because there was a little bit of interest when I posted that I finally finished my 2002 album. I thought I'd pop in and do a quick flip through of the album, and if you have any questions as you're going through, if you're watching live, just post them in there and I'm happy to answer them. Even if you're watching the replay, post your questions in there and I'm happy to go back and answer them as they pop up, okay? So now, just a note on the way I memory keep. I do not memory keep chronologically. I scrapbook based on how I feel at the moment. So the pictures that kind of tug at my heart when I'm ready to sit down and scrapbook, those are the pictures that I scrapbook. So that is why it took me 17 years to finish this album, is because I don't work chronologically. I have albums for every year from 1999 all the way to 2019. So I just basically pick and choose. Whatever photos feel right, those are the ones that I scrapbook. So as I start completing some of these albums, because as I'm flipping through looking for pictures to document, I realize that many of these albums only have 4 or 5 pages left and they're finished. So I'm kind of working on that. All right, so with that in mind, you're gonna see some new product and some very, very old product as we flip through, okay? So let's see here. I'm just waiting for my screen to update. Make sure that we can see the whole thing. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm sorry, there probably is gonna be some glare just from the lights. I don't think there's much I can do about that. And some of these you'll see from classes. So again, this is 2002. My daughter would have been 3 years old at the time. So these are some recent ones that I did. Does anybody else scrapbook like that? Or are you a chronological scrapbooker? Or do you scrapbook just current pictures? How do you guys scrapbook? I think this is I love this layout. It's so cute. The colors, they're kind of fun. Does anybody remember that paper? I think that actually might have been a Simply Scrappin' kit back when we carried Simply Scrappin' kits. And then some of these pages are actually from my Project Life or M&M Club kits or classes. So I remember, was it last year or the year before, we used this DSP and this kit, M&M kit. So these are some of the pages from that. And you'll see, I believe later on, you'll see that I incorporate all different kinds of, or sizes of page protectors in my albums as well. Barb, you found that you had to choose either card making or scrapbooking? Yeah, I think a lot of people do that. And card making, I think there's a little bit more immediate gratification in card making because you can quickly whip up a card, whereas a scrapbook page tends to take a little bit longer. But I just love being able to look back at these scrapbooks and all the memories. I just love them. And pocket pages, I mean, I never would have gotten as much done if they hadn't come out with a pocket page system. So you'll see that sometimes, so here I had some pictures for this pocket page, but then I didn't have any pictures here. And the pictures that I wanted to include over on this page wouldn't necessarily work on this page. So I just do fillers. So here I picked some patterned paper, actually a couple patterns of paper, and just filled it in. These are cut from, I think it was a 12 by 12 cut apart page. And I just put those in there. So I have a variety of different ways that I kind of include fillers. And then this is way back. For those of you who've been with Stampin' Up! For a very long time, we used to sell 8.5 by 11 calendars. Actually, I think we sold them in a few different sizes. But this was one of the first years. I think this stamp set might have been in my starter kit when I started. So I had done a calendar. And so what I did was at the end of the year, I just took apart the calendar and I stuck them to 12 by 12 backgrounds, or some of them are in here in 8.5 by 11 page protectors as well. Here's a Valley Zoo page. It's fun to look back and see what the trends were, like roughing up the cardstock and those big eyelets. This was a trip to Germany. One thing that I do need to do, if you look over here, this is a little matchbook album, so there's more pictures in there. So I just need to slit my page protector so that that can easily be flipped up, so that you don't have to take it out of the page protectors. I certainly hope that they appreciate these as they get older. Actually, they do enjoy looking through, flipping through, especially my husband. My husband loves flipping through them. This was a trip to Monschau. At this time, my parents actually lived over in Europe. So by the time Jordan was 3 years old, she had been to Europe 3 times. So we took advantage of them being over there. This is one of my favorite pictures of my dad and Jordan. And then one of the things that we did over there was we went to Auschwitz. And so this is some of the information that we got when we went. And then this was a photo that I picked up just at the gift shop. And then the In Flanders Field poem is in there. And then our tickets. And then this was the saying that was on this plaque here. So sometimes I do that if I just need to fill in some pockets, I'll take something from a photo. I think I had a close-up view of this part, and so I just typed it out and printed it off. And then we did a trip to Cyprus, and here I included a little map and some stamps, and this is a postcard. This was another Memories and More class. Pictures of the pool and the resort that we stayed in. And remember those funky scissors? This was another one of those first layouts that I did when I first started scrapbooking. And all the little stickers. So some of these things I would love to go back and redo, but I know that, you know what, this all shows progression and it's trends, and it's kind of fun to look back. So I think it's important to keep them in there. And here I could slit this page protector as well because the journaling is under there and it just pulls out. Remember when we carried those little metal elements? So many things that we've carried along the way and have discontinued. It's so fun to look back. This was back when we carried Spectrum pads before they were uninked. Remember I did a Facebook Live just a couple days ago? This was another calendar page. So I cut it down and then I just created this one to kind of coordinate. So of course this stamp I didn't have it anymore. So I just found something else that was similar. And these are pieces from a paper pumpkin kit. So the colors aren't exactly as is, or aren't exactly the same, but they're pretty darn close. I think I had a piece of the, I think this is more mustard cardstock left in my retired stash. So I just pulled that out, and Old Olive is still current. I think that'll be around forever. Here's another page filler. I love how this layout turned out. So how did I do this? I cut circles out of them. I don't know if I used my e-cutter, or I must have, because it won't fit through my Big Shot, and it looks too good to have used an X-Acto knife, and a punch definitely wouldn't fit. So I must have used my e-cutter to cut out some circles. And then the title is done with, I think it's a window sheet cut out. You didn't like the colored mustard, Barb? Yeah, I kind of went through phases. I really liked it in the fall. I used it lots. There's Marcel's nanny. Whenever she did baking, she would wrap her hair or her head with a tea towel. Yeah, it's so fun to look back, especially when some of these people aren't even around anymore. You guys, if you visited my blog or my blog yesterday, this layout is current. Like, this is something that I just scrapbooked within the last couple weeks. So that was up on my blog yesterday. Now, I only have 2 Christmas photos in here. I know that if I go back to 2002, I have a ton more Christmas photos, but at this point, like, at some point you have to say, no, that's enough is enough. So I am quite happy with just having these 2 photos in this album and calling the album done, rather than going back and creating more work for myself. You know what? It's a special photo of Jordan and Nanny, and then Jordan with Santa. Do you guys remember these? So I'm quite happy with that. And then that's it. So that's all of 2002 documented and done. And now I'm excited because I get to move it upstairs. So I keep all my unfinished albums downstairs in my craft studio. And then when they're done, I have a spot for them upstairs. And that way they're out, and whenever anybody comes over, they know that they can go pull them out and flip through them and enjoy seeing those pictures from back then. So it's lots of fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, if you're watching the replay, thanks Beth, thanks Mary Liz. If you're watching the replay and you have any questions about memory keeping or how I do it, how I organize, whatever, it doesn't matter, any kind of questions at all, just post them in the comments. Like I said, I will respond to them at any time. And thanks so much for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.